Welcome back. Today I'm taking a look at the brand new Fenix TK20R UE tactical flashlight. Let's check it out. And this is everything the TK20R UE comes with. Give you a close-up of the box right here. Typical Fenix box, all the lumens and runtime information on the back, but we'll get to that a little bit later on in this video. A Type A to Type C charging cable. In this bag is a lanyard and 2 spare O-rings, a user manual, some product information, and here's your warranty card. And of course the Fenix holster. And if you guys can see my face right now, you guys know how I feel about Fenix holsters. In fact,
a few moments later.
as much as I like Fenix flashlights, I dislike their holsters greatly. I'm sorry, I just don't like it. Let's go back down. Let's put all that negativity to the side over here and let me give you a close-up of the brand new Fenix TK20R UE. While you guys are checking this out, let's talk about some of the features. The TK20R UE comes in 4 different colors. It comes in a copper camo, a tropical green, a metallic sand, and the version that I have right here, city gray. It has a maximum output of 2,800 lumens, a maximum throwing distance of 465 meters, and a max intensity of 53,880 candela. And throwing out those 2,800 lumens is a single SFT70 LED with a lifespan of about 50,000 hours and has a color temperature of around 63 to 6,500 Kelvin. There's 2 user modes, a tactical mode and a daily mode. There's 2 lighting levels within tactical mode, turbo and strobe, and there's 4 cyclable lighting levels in duty mode, low, medium, high, and turbo. And everything is controlled with a single tail switch and their new patented FlexiSensa control switch with a one-handed operation. The body's made from 6061 T6 aluminum and has a Type 3 hard anodized finish. There's an impact resistance of 1 meter and an IP rating of 68. The 6 means it's completely dustproof, and the 8 means it's submersible and up to 6 feet of water. All right, let's talk dimensions. It has a length of 6.05 inches, a head diameter of 1.34 inches, and a body diameter of exactly 1 inch. And according to my weight test, it comes in at 7.2 ounces. That's 204 grams, and that's including the battery. And one thing I'm super excited about for this release is these 4 different colors you get to choose from. Fenix typically releases all black flashlights, but now there's 4 different colors to choose from, and I am really digging this city gray. I mean, check this out. So I'm super happy to see Fenix starting to offer these colors. I hope they keep this up. And the quality and feel of this flashlight, typical Fenix, feels very, very nice in the hand. There's a bunch of knurling right here in the center of the body, right where 3 of my fingers rest pretty perfectly if I'm holding it in this orientation. But generally, because this is a tactical style flashlight, you're going to be holding it like this anyways, and those same 3 fingers are going to be right on that knurling. So the grip and the feel of this flashlight is excellent. Typical 6061 T6 aluminum Type 3 hard anodized finish. We see that on almost every single Fenix release. And take a look at this bezel. This is a stainless steel striking bezel, and I like the contrast between this city gray and this black bezel. I like this combination. And I'll take a look right down the barrel there at that single Luminus SFT70 LED. It pushes out 2,800 lumens, and yes, that color temperature is very much right around 6,500 Kelvin. It has a very bluish / cool white color temperature, which I definitely like in my tactical flashlights. And before we move on, I just want to do a quick size comparison of the TK20R UE and the TK20R version 2 right here. Guys, these 2 flashlights are darn near identical. If I had to say there was a difference here, it's about maybe 1/8 of an inch longer on the brand new UE than there is on the version 2. And you can see the head diameter and the bezel, they're almost exactly identical, except for the tail switches here. Now you can see right away this brand new rotating dial on the UE. They call that their FlexiSensa control switch, and this works right on the fly. You can see it's labeled right there, so there is a lockout. Where am I? So that is completely locked out. Right dead center is duty mode, and all the way over is tactical mode. Now, Fenix released a few rotating dials in the past, but nothing quite like this. Basically, it saves your last lighting mode, whether you're in tactical or duty mode. Now let's take a look at what battery comes with the Fenix TK20R UE. It is a 5,000 milliamp hour 21700 3.6 volt rechargeable lithium ion battery. Now you can charge this either through the USB Type-C charging port right here on the body, or it can be externally slot charged if you have a slot charger. So let's see if I can get these springs in the light here. It's kind of hard to see down there. I might do a close-up B-roll shot of this, but it does have a dual spring suspension system for the battery, which is great. Whenever I look at any tactical flashlight, I want to make sure it has that dual spring suspension for the battery, just to avoid any momentary power failures if the flashlight takes any jolts. Now let's take a look at that USB Type-C charging port, and I love this system. This collar right here, just give it a twist and it reveals the USB Type-C charging port. Now I do like this feature here. You don't have to worry about getting any dirt or mud inside of that Type-C charging port, because once it's all tightened up, that's watertight. So it gives you all the convenience of being able to charge it right from the body here and not have to worry about that rubber flap either breaking off or, like I said, getting mud or dirt in that charging port. So I think this is great. What I don't think is great, and once again, I've said this every single time any company puts the battery light indicator underneath this collar right here. So that is a battery life / charging indicator. When this flashlight is charging, it'll glow red, and when it's fully charged, it'll glow green. So let me try this again. I don't think I had the cap on all the way. So there you go. There is a green light right there that says I have 100% battery life. And it's just momentary. You can see it just went away after a few seconds. I like to know what my battery life is instantly. There's no reason they can't have the LED on the outside of this twist collar right here. There's no reason to hide it underneath here. This would be absolutely perfect if they had this USB Type-C charging port and the twist collar right here tightens right up and still have the LED on the outside. So when I turn it on, boom, I can see how much battery life I have. And speaking of battery life, this has a maximum runtime of 40 hours on low. So that is a pretty decent runtime, especially for a flashlight of this size. And the last thing I want to talk about here on the body is this split ring pocket clip. You can see it is a lens down pocket clip. And yes, like I said, it is split ring, so it's easily removable if you don't want it here. All right, I'm gonna throw up on the screen right now a graph of the lumen output and runtime information in both tactical and duty modes. So tactical mode just has turbo and strobe, both 2800 lumens, which is fantastic. So turbo 2800 lumens has a runtime of 3 hours with that pesky asterisk. You guys know what that means. That's a total runtime with turbo stepping down to high, medium, and low until the battery is completely drained. The distance of 465 meters and an intensity of 52,880 candela. I just want to point out that there's a 10,000 candela difference from the website to their box. The box says 53,880. The website says 52,880. But let's move on to duty mode. So you have the 4 cyclable lighting modes: low, medium, high, and turbo. Turbo is the same exact specs as tactical mode, which is fantastic. And I like that because generally when you see a duty in tactical mode, the turbos are a little bit different. The turbo lumen output is always different. I'm not really sure why that is. I always complain about it, and there's always a rep that gets a hold of me trying to explain it, and I don't really understand because I just don't agree with it. If you have dual user modes, turbo should be exactly the same on duty and tactical. Just like it is here, I like it. And the lumen spacing here is pretty darn good because it goes right to high at 1000 lumens, medium is 350, and low is 30. And that's why you're gonna get that maximum 40-hour runtime. And going back to that 3-hour turbo runtime, I'm gonna do a turbo / heat test coming up in just a little bit after I talk about the UI, which is gonna be right now. So the UI here is very good. Very, very simple. You just have the on and off button right here where a half press goes to silent momentary on and a full press, click, constant on. And right now the switch is in duty mode. So if I just half press the on off button right there, you can see I'm cycling through low, medium, high, and turbo 2800 lumens. Now if I half press again and go right to low, if I switch it over to tactical mode right there, it's gonna go to the last mode that it was in, which was turbo. So there's turbo 2800 lumens, and if I half press in tactical, it's gonna go right to strobe. So strobe, back to turbo. I think this is great. You basically have instant access to turbo and strobe through that tactical mode right there. And when I said earlier that I like the functionality of this switch, it's because it remembers your last lighting level based on which mode you're in. So if I go back to duty mode, it goes right back to low where I left it. tactical, right back to turbo. And just to show you again, if I leave it on strobe, back to low, back to tactical mode, goes right back to strobe. So instant access to turbo, instant access to strobe, and a quick lockout mode right there. So you can see no matter what I do, it is locked out. And if I switch it right back over, press it, boom, goes right back to low. I absolutely love mechanical lockouts on my flashlights. When you're doing button combinations with side switches and tail switches, as long as you give me a lockout, it's not bad, but if I had to pick, it's mechanical lockout all day long. It's just so quick and easy, and you can even use that just to turn off the flashlight really quick, and now locked out. Now it's time for my not so scientific heat and turbo test. So what I do here is I let the flashlight run for 2 minutes, and I take its temperature at the head and the body after 1 minute, and then after 2 minutes. After 1 minute, at the head was 130 degrees Fahrenheit, and at the body was 112 degrees Fahrenheit. And it topped out right around 131 degrees within that first minute. So that 130, it dropped 1 degree right before it hit that 1 minute. So while you're holding it at the body, 112 is getting a little hot, but it's completely manageable. No gloves needed. But at the head, if you're gonna be touching that, even twisting the collar a little bit, I would use gloves. And then after 2 minutes at the head, it dropped 4 degrees to 126 degrees Fahrenheit and rose a degree at the body at 113 degrees Fahrenheit. So those numbers aren't terrible, but I can say that the head gets very hot very quickly. I would say at about 20 seconds, the head was already right around 130 degrees Fahrenheit. And now for the turbo step down. I saw a pretty drastic step down right around 35 seconds. When I'm editing, I'll scroll through the footage and I'll put the exact time it started to dim and when it stopped dimming from turbo. All right, let's start on low here. And see, that's 30 lumens. Right there, and I'm even kissing that tree already. I'll put up the distance between me and that tree. Just scan across my yard. You can get a good idea of that beam profile. You can see it's a fairly wide outer perimeter there. Very nice hotspot. So let's go to medium. Boom. Okay, 350 lumens. It looks weird over there, but I'll put up a distance between me and that barn. Right there. And now let's go to high, 1000 lumens. So this is pretty decent, 1000 lumens. And like I said, that is a very nice beam profile there. Check out that outer spill, the perimeter there, pretty sharp. And then get a nice look at what that hot spot looks like right there. And check out the beam. Very nice. And now let's go to turbo 2800. Oh yeah. .465 meter throw. And once again, like I said, I'll put up the distance between me and that barn. I don't have that much space, but you can see it is lighting up that barn without a problem at all. And the color temperature, like I said, is right around 6,300 to 6,500 Kelvin. And you can definitely tell. But the beam does not look green at all. And I've been saying this about Fenix and HAIII the last couple months with their new releases. They are really stepping it up with getting that green, that ugly green tint out of their beams. And Fenix, they've been pretty decent at it all along, but not as bad as HAIII. But this one looks pretty darn good. So I'm going to switch locations here and give you a different look. Let's go. So as expected, the TK20R UE has a fantastic beam profile. It has a nice crispy outer perimeter, fairly wide by the way, and is really even from the outer perimeter to that hotspot. And it's a fairly decent sized hotspot. It's not the biggest one I've ever seen, but it's not the smallest one I've ever seen either. I think the color temperature is perfect right there at that 63 to 6500 Kelvin. Now, other than the beam profile, what are some other positives here? Well, I like the fact that you can choose between 4 different colors now. I love this city gray. And other than the typical Fenix quality of this flashlight, I want to talk about the new rotating dial here. It works flawlessly. It's in a perfect spot for my thumb just to easily switch modes from lockout, duty to tactical. And the fact that you can switch between duty and tactical and it remembers your last lighting mode is fantastic. So there's instant access to turbo and strobe, which is what I expect to have on my tactical flashlights. And I don't feel like I have to go through all the other positives, such as the regular aluminum body, the 68 IP rating. All that is great. But let's pinpoint some of the negatives here. The main negative that I have, and it might not be a big deal for you guys at all, but I dislike the battery life LED being under this twist collar right here. I want to be able to turn on my flashlight and instantly see that battery level indicator. This right here just seems like a chore. The next negative I have right here, I really wish Fenix would work on their holster game. I just don't like this holster. I don't like it. The next negative is the price point here. $139.95, and I know that might be in line with other flashlights of this lumen range and throwing distance, but I still feel like it's a pretty hefty price to pay, $140, but that's subjective. You guys can feel a little bit differently about that than I do, but I'm gonna keep that in the negatives. But overall, it is a fantastic flashlight, and in a crowded marketplace, tactical flashlights are all over the place, and you guys have your choice of hundreds of flashlights. This fits right in there at the top of the list. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. What do you think of the Fenix TK20R UE? Now, if you want to check this out for yourself, I will have links down below in my description box. But if you did enjoy this video, please give me that thumbs up. Please subscribe. And go!